NXT news we will move over to next. Coming out of Tuesday night, we saw Mandy Rose appear on the program, and it's since been learned, this was first reported by a PW Insider, and I was told the same, that Mandy Rose is now considered a full-time member of the NXT roster. It was a curious move, Way, because Mandy Rose was certainly not written out of anything on Raw, and I guess we'll wait to see if she has any more appearances on Raw, but it seems like she has been shifted to NXT, and in theory, that would mean the tag team with Dana Brooke is done.
I would say that the news was surprising, but I mean, it seems like this kind of constant flip-flopping between talents from NXT to WWE main roster, it goes both ways now. Just as abruptly as we saw, Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox move up to the main roster, we're seeing just as abrupt of a change for Mandy Rose. So maybe some sort of switching going on here. Maybe, in the back they're like, hey, you want to just take one of our guys? Well, then we want to take one of your guys too. Whatever. It's pro wrestling. They'll write stories around it to explain it. I think for Mandy Rose, this is a very, very positive move. Contractually, I don't know. Monetarily, I don't know if anything changes for her, but at least in terms of character development, in terms of her being able to build herself as a wrestler and also as a performer backstage, I think it can only be a good move, because she wasn't really doing a whole lot in that match with Dana Brooke. Her character work was all over the place. She had a really high mark, I would say, with the Otis storyline and then with the Sonya Deville storyline, but ever since she's come to Raw, it's been nothing. It's been a real regression. So I hope NXT is where she could reinvent herself.
Yeah, possible. I think it's just, it just seemed like for weeks they'd been building towards this tag title match with Natalya and Tamina, and it looks like we're not even going to get there. There really isn't a point now to do it. And I guess the next question is, with Dana Brooke, how do they shift her around? I get, does she get thrown into another team? Is she just on her own on Raw? So, those questions, I guess we will see on programming in the weeks to come. And then in regards to NXT, over the next couple of weeks, there's going to be it's going to be shuffled around a bit. It appears that the program is going to be airing on Sci-Fi for July 27th and August 4th. And now next week, they are going to be doing a live show on Tuesday. And then I was told that on the Wednesday, they're going to be taping both the July 27th and August 4th episodes. So that's apparently what the schedule is going to be for next week. And PW Insider had reported on this. So it looks like the Olympics are going to have some impact on NXT, at least on the USA Network. And it looks like 2 weeks where it will be taped for the 27th and August 4th. But Tuesday night's episode, this coming from Brandon Thurston, did 705,000 viewers, a 0.19 in the 18 to 49 demo, which was their best 18 to 49 number since June 8th and best viewership figure since May 4th. So getting out of, we're not exactly done the NBA Finals, but they weren't going against that on Tuesday. It seems that NXT, at least above the 700,000 viewer mark. But what did you think of the episode overall, specifically Karrion Kross and Johnny Gargano, which was the big match on the show Tuesday?
I thought it was a good episode. Obviously not as strong as last week's, pay-per-view level type of show, but I thought it was a pretty solid episode. I really like Johnny Wrestling versus Karrion Kross. The match actually went, excuse me, a little bit shorter than I expected, but it felt like it was the Johnny Wrestling of old, and building up to a Samoa Joe match, like more than ever.
I think that was pretty clear. I mean, that to me is like, there is no doubt now that they are doing Karrion Kross and Samoa Joe.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe Samoa Joe and a bunch of other guys too. They're really teasing matches with everybody. What do you think of the match?
I liked it. It was fine. Didn't blow me away. Certainly this was not at the level of last week's show, but that to me was one of the better NXT episodes this year. But fine for what it was. I would say for the rest of it, Duke Hudson feels like he is Captain America. That is the exact template that Duke Hudson is going for.
Like Steve Rogers or Captain America?
Steve Rogers, maybe.
What, just as in like, in terms of size or in terms of just personality?
I just get that whole kind of. I think they are taking different elements of what they see in Drew McIntyre with Steve Rogers, and your combination is Duke Hudson. I was very surprised. Actually, I shouldn't say I was surprised he won, but I was. I totally thought that. I was not expecting him to actually win the match.
Okay. I mean, judging by his size, I think the amount of the amount of time they give him, just based on his entrance and also what he had last week. I mean, the tall guys are always going to at least get a leg up, and especially if you're a tall guy who can have some form of personality and is at least decent in the ring, you're going to have a lot of chances. So I don't know if I see this guy winning the whole thing, but I wasn't too surprised that he beat poor Ikemen Jiro here. What did you think of
I think Jiro is great, though. I think he's you know what, you're right that he really doesn't need this tournament, but he's a really enjoyable character.
Fun, yeah. I mean, I don't know what the ceiling is for a guy like that, beyond maybe like kind of being your friendly, like fun little opening act. But within NXT, we've seen that like varying success, as far as how they can push people at that level. So maybe something for him down the line. What did you think of the Cameron Grimes LA Knight skit?
I was not surprised that Grimes is going to be great in these. I think LA Knight plays off him very well. They're very much in the same style of, David Von Erich and Jimmy Garvin. I mean, it was a classic story in World Class where Garvin had to go onto the ranch and pretty much be in the same role that Grimes is. They were fine for like week one. I do worry by the end of seeing 3 of them on Tuesday night. Like, are they going to be able to go to the well week after week with these?
I would say maybe 2 weeks max, and next week needs to be even more creative than I would say this week does. But I love it whenever they can have wrestlers get out of the arena, whether it be get out of the backstage, like show me how these guys live. And in particular, I actually feel like LA Knight came across really well in these segments. He comes across like, a rather natural actor in these scenarios, and to me came across like a bigger star just through his presence in these sketches.
Yeah, Grimes was very funny in them, especially the callback after, right at the end where he falls in the water. Can I get you a towel, sir? He was very good in these. I enjoyed Grimes quite a bit. They briefly explain that Shotzi Blackheart, her contract has been picked up by SmackDown. So that was it. Ember Moon was on her own. And that's it. The team is done.
Do you think we even get a mention of Mandy Rose on Monday?
No, I'm going to guess not.
Right.
It does seem like when they make these moves, that's it. They're done. I don't know if we're going to do the usual where you finish up on your other show, even though it would make sense to do so. But
it doesn't seem like Toni Storm even will be finishing her feud with Saray here.
That's a great point. There was no mention of Toni Storm here.
Yeah, well, they mentioned her briefly, like in the back, but basically it was like she's gone. Like it was Gigi Dolan setting up the challenge to Saray and then ultimately losing. And then we had Mandy Rose actually come out to scout. So maybe Mandy Rose picking up where what is it? Oh man, I forget her. Toni Storm left off.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll just have Mandy Rose. It certainly seems she's going to be injected into that story with Jessie Kamea, Frankie Monet, and Robert Stone, whatever they're going to do there. Or maybe they'll just have Mandy scouting different people. You don't really know what she's going to be doing in NXT and then shoot the angle with her in time. Just
go out there and look. And that's basically what you can do with anybody if you don't know what you're going to do story-wise for him yet. What we did get a tease of was the next challenger for Raquel Gonzalez in Xia Li.
Yeah, they're going to do that next week. They announced that. They announced Kushida and Bobby Fish against Roderick Strong and Tyler Rust. And though we don't have a date, it looks like Adam Cole's got Bronson Reed, and they pretty much made it pretty clear that they're going to get to the rubber match between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. So the race is on to see who has more matches this year, Cole and O'Reilly or Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier.